There it is, guys, another podcast with TD Wells on if entrepreneurship is needed or is it a want for many people. And I want to discuss a few different things here in this podcast. Number one is, why is it that most people feel like they're not selling? Now, I stop and I hesitate on that because what I found is that most people feel like they're not in a selling environment, and you're probably not. And what I mean by you're probably not is that if you're educating and you're teaching, you're selling, right? Whatever it is that you're offering, whether you're a teacher, you're a doctor, you're a salesperson, you're a business owner, whatever your specific thing is, right? If you're a parent, all of those items, all of those things that you, at the end of the day, you are absolutely selling through educating and teaching, right? You're selling the student on why they should be learning this particular thing that you're offering or you're talking about. You're selling your parents, you're selling your kids on why they should do something, right? You're selling the client on why they should take your particular product or service versus the other product or service. So I've made it a point in my life to understand both angles. And here's what I mean by that. Both angles meaning I understand the corporate world now and I understand the business world. Now, do I wish sometimes I would have done things a little bit different? Maybe yes and no, but I feel like everybody has their own path and their own journey. And the way that journey is going to be designed is going to be designed the way that you designed it, and also how you manifest things and how you speak to yourself. And that's a whole nother topic about speaking to yourself and speaking things in existence. It's true. It really happens. You got to be careful what you wish for in a lot of different ways internally. And in your mind, whatever you say, whatever you tell yourself is pretty much what you become. The people that you surround yourself with is pretty much what you become, right? If you're wanting to be something very specific and most of your friends are that specific thing, well, that's probably what you're going to become. Sometimes you don't even realize that your surrounding factors and the things that are around you will pull you in, and unconsciously you'll just start doing those things that everybody else is doing, whether they're negative traits. You don't even know that you're doing it. So that's why I say you should truly be careful with the individuals that you surround yourself with, whether you think that they are successful or not. If they haven't had any real success in the things that you're trying to achieve, you need to find a whole nother sector of people to work with or to surround yourself with. Getting back to the entrepreneurship thing, here's the facts. The facts are that entrepreneurship is something that we all need to survive. It is a survival mode type deal. And here's what I mean by that. I saw somebody post something, and it might have been like a week ago or whenever, and it was like, entrepreneurship is a survival skill. If you never learn it, you'll always be reliant on others to eat. And I thought that was really interesting. And I don't remember who wrote that or who put that up. I just took a screenshot of it. I thought it was interesting, or I just kind of wrote it down, actually. I wrote it down, and I thought it was interesting that that's so factual. So I can tell you this quick story about being an entrepreneur and being in the sales world. And I want you to understand this before I get into the story. You're always selling. Doesn't matter what you're doing. And what I mean by that is if you're a teacher, if you're a doctor, if you're a sales professional, you're an entrepreneur, which you better have sales, because the first thing they ask you when you get on the Shark Tank is, what are your sales, right? And if you don't have any sales, chances of actually being able to get any type of seed money or an investment is probably pretty slim, right? So with that being said, you're always selling. Understand that. You're selling your student on why that particular lesson is important. You're selling your kids on why they should do something very specific. You're selling your husband, your wife, or your girlfriend, your boyfriend on, I'm the best option. You're always in that sell mode, unconsciously or consciously, whatever it may be. Now, let me tell you why entrepreneurship is definitely a survival type situation. Now, I don't take away anything from anyone that has decided to work for a company and is doing very well, right? I think that's respectful. I think that a lot of people, some people are really good at it, and some people are not very good at it. I being, for one, I'm probably not the best person or more that suited to work for corporations, but here's what I can tell you. Working for specific corporations, you learn a lot of different things regarding referencing management, referencing sales, how to organize certain things like time management. You learn all of those things, which I feel like, that's all those things that should be teaching anyway in school. And I recently sat down and I was talking to a young girl, and it was in a dealership that I worked in. And it was so funny. She started asking me, her mom or dad was sitting there. She just started asking me, so what are you doing? How do you do sales or whatever? I don't know why she asked that question. So then I started explaining to her, and then she was like, man, they should teach that in school instead of the square root or fractions. Or it was really interesting to hear that from a 13-year-old. Now, look, I'm not taking anything away from school. I feel like school definitely teaches discipline in a lot of different areas. However, I do think that schools need to implement that process as well, and I agree with what she was saying. So the survival mode of entrepreneurship, and I digressed a minute, is that we all need it. You're going to need it in 2020. You better prepare. You better be prepared to go out there and understand how to gain clients. How do you create the traction to understanding how to gain clients and how to get them to trust you, number one, how to get other people to do business with you. I mean, those are all things that I had to literally master. And I'm going to tell you, I wasn't that great at it when I was a teenager. It took me a long time to learn and understand that, how to get through the gatekeeper, how to get to the person that made the decisions. Those are all things that I actually was mentored in, and I just studied every single book. I don't say every book, but I studied many books on the improvement of how to change my whole mindset and understanding how to gain a client, because not a lot of people understand that. And to this day, people still don't get it. I'm in forums and different forums on Facebook and everywhere else, and networking groups, and a lot of people just truly don't get that it really takes an understanding of how to, get people to do business with you. But it takes what really needs to happen is that a lot of times we don't understand how to build rapport with different types of people in different demographics. So then your focus is only with one type of person. And not to say that you shouldn't focus on, different people. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you're losing opportunities. There are opportunities out there, and I think that what happens is we lose that aspect of attempting to get certain demographics of people, and we only focus on that one group. And so what I'm saying is, once you understand how to build rapport and the follow-up behind building rapport. Now, look, I like to be able to see if I can get people to do business with me right away, initially, from the jump, right there. And if I can't, there's something that's missing. And I want to teach you a few things on how to build a rapport, right? Rapport building is just mirroring and matching and modeling, and what I mean by that is it's a little bit more complex than what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, if you're able to resonate with the individual that's in front of you and articulate the message, because remember, if you're talking on the phone, you better understand how to communicate, and through that phone, through tonalities, right? Certain things that are in your voice, like you hear me going up and then you hear me going down, and all of those things, right? Those are all things that sell to the individual, that if you know what you're talking about, if you're excited about what you're talking about, if you really want to earn their business, and if you care, right? Because there's that old saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Doesn't matter how many certificates you have, how many degrees you have, none of that matters. What matters is that if you give a crap about the individual that's on the other end, right? Because if you don't, just think about yourself, right? And think about how you handle certain things. If you don't care about the individual on the other end, then why should they care about giving you business? So then what's going to happen is they're going to go into the mode of, I got to think about it. Because sometimes, most of the time, most people, if they're looking for your particular service and they've inquired about it, and you've talked to them on the phone, you got them on the phone, they obviously have something. They have the money, they have the funds to do business with you. They're just wanting to see if you're just like everybody else out there that's wanting to get money from them. So that's really where I'm going with this, is that entrepreneurship is going to be a required skill set that everybody's going to need to know to survive in this new era that we are now approaching. And so I just wanted to put out this quick video, or this quick podcast, just to give you a little bit of insight, is that you need to start figuring out today, right now, make that move to figure out what it is that you truly want to be doing and what it is that you're passionate about. And I feel like, first things first, I deal in the world of the finance world. I was in the mortgage industry for 11 years. I own the company. I own like several different types of companies. Some were successful, some weren't at the end of the day, but I still took the risk and the opportunities to go out there and do it and take action. If you hate what you do, you know what? There's nothing. You're not going to be ever. You're never going to be satisfied if you hate what you do and you stay there, right? So it's time to make the move. And I'm not saying make foolish moves. I'm not saying make stupid moves. And what is a stupid move? I'm not saying anybody is stupid. I'm saying make some calculated decisions. Put a pen to paper. Get with somebody that's good with numbers. Like, just try to understand where it is that you're wanting to go, because I don't think a lot of people truly know where they want to go. And so I'm going to end this 12-minute video, this 12-minute podcast. I keep saying video. I'm going to end this 12-minute podcast by saying, look, you can be passionate about whatever it is that you're doing. Obviously, that's 100% going to help. Absolutely, you gotta love. You do to some extent have to enjoy what you're doing. But what I will say is that understand you have to develop a skill set, and that skill set has to evolve around you being able to feed your family and/or yourself and eat on a daily or weekly basis or monthly basis or however you want to pay yourself. Those are all things that are going to be required. It's still required. It's been required for 100 years, and not everybody's fit to do it. But you know what? I'm going to take that back. Everybody's fit to do it. It's just you have to want to do it. You have to want that. It has to be a desire in your stomach, in your belly, that you know that this is something that you truly want. And I'm going to tell you right now, go after it. Go after it hard and don't quit.